Welcome to the City of Oak Hill Workshop Meeting. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Here. Here.
Commissioner Hyatt? Here. Commissioner Morning? Here.
And Commissioner Gallagher apologizes. He thinks he has the flu, so he wanted to stay away so he didn't get it also.
That's definitely excusable.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay. Opening and introduction of school boards. So do we have an introduction?
I just thought they would want to introduce themselves. I don't know if everybody knows everybody.
Okay.
Yeah?
Please. Everyone could introduce themselves.
Sure.
They have to turn it on.
I'm Brent Appy. I'm the business manager at Burnside Tech. I think I've met most of you, all of you. I've been at Burns for about 4 years, and yeah, so that's about it.
I'm Alexis Galerno. I'm the kindergarten through 6th grade principal. I think I've met all of you. And I have been with Burns since 2017.
I'm Daniel Hargrave, the secondary school principal, and I've been at Burns since 2017 as well.
Tim Kerrigan, secondary assistant principal. I've been there for 2.5 years.
I'm Suzanne Gerald. I'm on the school board since February of last year, right? Yeah.
And I'm Adam Owens, also on the school board since February of this year.
Welcome all.
Thank you.
All right, discussion of joint city-school issues.
These were issues that the school gave to me to put on the agenda.
Okay.
So I don't want to start with those, let them speak to those, and then I didn't know if y'all had anything specific.
Okay, very good. Please start.
So I know the one was just about the traffic. They emailed that one traffic concern. That was, I don't remember the date when that was, but we did all review that. So we just wanted to see what your thoughts were on the traffic patterns and where we stand with that. I know we have consulted with some of the adjacent property owners who have felt that it is definitely better this year than it has been in previous years. So we like to hear that, and we are open to, of course, any other suggestions or things to make the flow
Okay.
better for everyone.
How did you come up with the traffic pattern?
Well, it used to back up a lot on US 1, and I know that that was an issue with the business owner in the corner. So taking that into consideration, we tried to alleviate a lot of that traffic onto the US 1 blocking the road, and so we have rerouted a few things to try to help with that flow, and then with our staggered start times, it really has kind of just helped anyway with the start times.
So the original traffic pattern, like we didn't change it from when Volusia County ran the school. So that's, the traffic's always gone the same way. Like we never changed it. We just did what Volusia County used to do.
The other thing that we did to help alleviate it is that we used to just do 1 lane of traffic. Now we're doing 4 lanes of traffic inside the school grounds. So that pulls a lot more of the cars in school grounds while they're waiting for their children versus 1 school line, which would push all the traffic back in there. So we've gone up to 4, so we double line everybody now. Just we put a lot of cones and stuff like that, but we're trying to get all the traffic onto our campus as fast as possible.
Did you alternate times of when the classes get out to help with the traffic?
Correct.
Gotcha.
I think that what you've done so far is good. It's definitely taken the traffic off of Route 1. I don't know if I would characterize it as saying that it was only a complaint by the property owner. I guess you're talking about Charlie Dean's daughter-in-law. Because I know that when it first had started, I guess a couple of years ago, it was backed way up
It was.
to past Lagoon, and a motorcyclist had gone off the road, and I'm sure he was concerned about that too.
Yeah, and I know that was a meeting that we had attended, so we tried to really take that into consideration with
But I
that.
do think what you have so far is a big improvement over that, and I hope that we can somehow or another continue, because I think it's in the city's interest and your interest to try to take as much heat off of that issue as we can, just to keep the citizens happy, and et cetera. But I am happy about what you've done so far.
Okay, thank you.
One thing we do want to preference is that at the beginning of the school year, it's going to take us 2 to 3 weeks to train the parents. They are not going to know the traffic patterns. They're going to be all over the place, and so we just ask that the community has a little patience while we train our parents on our traffic patterns.
Have you ever published a document to the parents to show like which way they're supposed to turn and all that kind of stuff? Because I see a lot of different, that they're using a lot of different options. I didn't know.
At orientation by grade level, we hand them a map of exactly where to go.
Okay.
They still try to, they're human beings, and they still try to circumvent and get the fastest way possible, and that's why at the beginning especially, we have people staggered, and if they're trying to not do it correctly, we just tell them to do a circle. Like, go back around and get back in line and do it correctly. That's the only way to train them.
For lack of a better word.
Yeah.
You're bringing them in on Lagoon part-time too, Lagoon and Halifax?
At the beginning of the year, we had our guardian standing on, like where Ridge Road is, Halifax, right there specifically, because that's like the hot spot where people try to merge into traffic and stuff.
Right.
And so that's probably the biggest area. And then when the sheriff comes here, sometimes like he'll park out there. And that,
Thanks.
Yeah, I think we most recently reached out to them about that.
Yeah, we did ask if they could look at the main intersection here with the flashing light because of all the, if not accidents, close to accidents because of people heading east on Halifax, trying to make that north turn, and you know they have to just do it because there's so much traffic they've never done an opening. So we did ask them to look into that. I asked them first, can one of our officers be stationed in the intersection to kind of move traffic? And they actually said it was a safety hazard for them to
For
stay
the officer.
in the intersection. But the next day, they did have an off-duty somebody kind of sitting to the side, a traffic expert, like watching the traffic patterns. So I don't know if they're working on coming up with something for that main intersection or not, but we have requested that they look into that.
yeah. And we've talked to the sheriff too before, just like to come and watch us to see like if they had any input on how we're doing. And like they came and said that they think we're doing it the best we can too. And that was this year and last year.
We did have a company too, and I can show you the report that's during our dismissal time was out there and did a traffic study as well. And his report, he had some minor things like some more signage maybe stating that it's a one-way street, things like that, because they are small and they're a little faded. And so some people, especially if they're new families, they don't know that they can't turn left during certain times. But he also reported that he thought it was, for the layout, it was really well organized.
Do you know how many cars a day average come to the school to pick their children up? No?
Do you have any school buses that?
We do, yes. And that, we have more buses than we have had before, which has definitely helped with some of that as well.
So are you picking up kids at a designated location and then transporting them to the school? Okay.
Yeah, we have 325 bus riders currently at the school.
Okay. And where are you picking them up?
All Florida Shores, New Smyrna Beach, all over. Oak Hill, everything. We don't service south of the school. Everything north we go. We go all the way up to Turnbull Bay on the little bus depot on Turnbull Road, and all the way to Winn-Dixie, New Smyrna Beach. It's a long bus route.
All the way to Turnbull Road. It's a long way.
Well, when majority of the kids are,
Oh, yeah.
you know, from up that way, that, you know, it would certainly help the traffic pattern to, Yeah, and even working moms and dads who need to get to work to drop the kids at a bus
That's
stop.
right,
And
Yeah, we had the buses totally full, and so that's. what
Well,
we're
and
looking for.
that's 3 buses, and they run, 2 of them run 2 routes. So it's technically, I guess you could say 5 buses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 2 of the buses go drop off the closer routes and then come back and pick up more kids and then go drop them off. So it's 3 buses, about 5 routes. If that makes sense.
Okay.
And we also try to have our after-school program, which then disperses the traffic. And then we also try to do a lot of right after-school activities, so that also disperses the traffic as well. So the more things that we can do after school, the less traffic we'll have all at once. It kind of spreads it out over that period of time.
I noticed a lot more cars go north when they come out of there than they do go south on Route 1. And it seems like if there was some way to fix that or make that a little different, people who were turning in, you know, trying to get out on the street and stuff would have a much better chance. Because it seems once they get out of church, you know, they all, I'm thinking like a pretty big percentage of them go to the north. I don't know if there's, it sounds like the bus problem probably lightened that up a bit, you know. But, boy, I don't know if there was, I hate to say send them down Gaines Street to Canal, because that's the street I live on, but, you know.
We don't need more
around
roads
River Road,
torn
but
up.
if there was a way to stop that from happening, it
When we had
seems like.
traffic issues in the past, we had to promise you guys they wouldn't use Gaines Street, because
Yeah.
those neighbors complained too much.
Yeah.
So we told you we wouldn't use Gaines Street. So we never even thought that was an option, because that was, we didn't think we were allowed to use Gaines Street. Because
Yeah.
those neighbors complained, like the Ridge Road neighbors will, then they'll all.
They'll all be mad at me if I agree to that, but I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily again, what I want to do is to find a solution, and I think that something as simple as that could be, take a lot of the heat off, because it's just, everybody has to sit there, you know, because they just can't get an opening, you know? Because once you turn, you know, that right turn onto Route 1 to go north, and that's it, all you have to do. But if you're at one of those intersections, because sometimes when I come out of Lagoon Ave to go to the city hall or go south or something like that, I have to go up, I just give up and I turn right and go up to the grocery box and do a U-turn right there. But, and, you know, that's fine, but I don't know, I just, you know, the River Road's not, that's not even in any condition to handle the traffic that it has on it right now, you know? So I guess out of all of those options, you know, Gaines Street looks like the best one, if there's no other way to stop it like that. But I don't know what you guys think about that.
My only concern is all the additional wear and tear on the roads. We can't afford to fix our roads as it is. We
Right.
don't need to beat up any more of them, make them worse, you know?
Yeah.
So confining it is somewhat better, but we do have to get a flow going.
Yeah, because we're already replacing the crosswalk lines on those streets also because of the wear and tear.
Yeah.
We'll have somebody out there painting them next week, I think.
On
So is
Route
the
1?
biggest complaint you guys get then regarding the traffic, is it trying to turn on to Halifax? Is that what? you
Off
guys-
of Route 1.
Oh, the four-corner intersection is
Yes.
the biggest. People can't come out of Halifax and go south, and people coming from Osteen area can't go
Straight
north.
across.
You know,
Yeah,
you just to be able to make that crossing at the intersection, it's almost like you wish you could do a four-way stop there.
That's why I was hoping that a police
You know.
officer standing in the road, you know, could stop and let them go. You know, it was two of your parents who were here at our last council meeting complaining that they were almost in accidents.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, we checked with FDOT, we're not anywhere on the radar for that signal to go full. I've checked with the, you know, sheriff, and they don't want to put a deputy out in the middle of the road. They also said that, you know, the challenge with that, you know, we'd have to decide as a city, do we want one of the two deputies that's covering our area in the middle of the road, then they aren't answering calls, you know, it's basically dedicated for school. And then they're also not watching the speeders, you know, because normally they're sitting somewhere making sure people are going the speed limit. So, you know, we talked a little bit about having an off-duty officer out there to help
Has the school thought about hiring a crossing guard to help out and alleviate some of the issues and the problems?
Or at least assist with the cost for a police unit to come out and assist.
Did you say earlier that the sheriff said it was too dangerous to put an officer to be a crossing guard on US 1?
That's what they basically told me.
Mm-hmm.
I found that kind of odd because, I think it would really slow down traffic if they had their car there with the lights on and that guy in the middle of the road directing.
It made a difference
Even a
just that day.
motorcycle.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
But, that was the reaction I got. And then, like I said, the next day they had a special deputy out here. He had a Mustang or whatever, and he was just pulled off the side of the road.
Somebody pulled over this morning.
I guess they're studying, if anything.
And we instantly got calls from citizens thanking us just for that proactive, taking
Well,
place.
And they sometimes do sit out in front of the school too, and a little bit down on the road, which is nice and it is helpful. They're just not consistent all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if they get a call,
Right.
they can't be there.
That's where if we had some funding for that, it would be dedicated and it would be expected.
Well, we did bring on an extra guardian this year, so we do have 2 guardians on our campus, and one is out front helping us on our campus. But so we do have extra funding that has gone towards that, but they have to still be, on our campus
On the property.
area.
But the funding could go towards police department to assist with them having an extra unit or a motorcycle or something out there. I don't know if the Volusia County Schools would, help support that or what.
No, they don't fund
The
us.
lady in the white had a question.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure about the protocol here. Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, fine, good, because here's my question. You, it's a roundabout sort of, but you talked about a permanent light, right, a normal light, and that it doesn't qualify as an intersection when they've done studies already, is that what you've said?
Yeah,
Yes.
it doesn't qualify, and it's a funding issue with
Okay.
FDOT too.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing, but then there are no lights anywhere in our entire Volusia County that might have, and I'm not saying we're stealing their light, I'm just saying that they have what we need, which is during this time, there's a very functioning light, and then it doesn't function like that, except for during that heavy-duty need time. Or even the concept, I guess, this could be like a wives' tale or something, I don't know. But I always thought that lights could be changed or stopped, and I thought emergency people had that
They do at a regular traffic light.
but ours is not.
Ours is strictly a
Ours is-
blinking light in
Yes.
town, and
So-
it's just strictly a caution light, and it's a red flashing light on Halifax
Right,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So-
just expensive putting, if you were gonna signalize that intersection truly,
Right.
the mast arms that have to be built
Right.
and the different signal poles that, or whatever that have to be dropped off of that,
Yeah.
it's extremely expensive.
Like a
And-
ballpark number, I'm clueless on that.
I heard years ago that it was $1 million, and I don't know how accurate that is, but the former mayor had made that comment at a town hall meeting
Yeah.
a very long time ago.
Right.
I could find out the expense though.
Yeah, I was just curious because sometimes you really don't know how your clients feel about it until they know that they could, if it's just about money or something,
Mhm.
And I don't know how our parents feel, but safety is primary.
Well, safety is definitely our main concern
yeah,
as
yours
well.
too, But I'm just
You
saying
know.
that,
Yeah.
it's only windows of time in our 24 hours here,
I think that's
right?
part of the problem, is
Yeah.
they can't justify somebody
Right,
for an
sure.
hour and a half in
I
the
know.
morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon.
Mhm.
So-
And then you're paying for somebody there, but how much would it cost? And is it safer to put the light there, just, versus
It's all
paying
down to
every single
dollars.
year trying to find somebody that feels unsafe being in that spot?
Sure.
Do you guys get many complaints about the morning anymore? It's so spread out now. I feel like the traffic barely moved
That
out.
it's not so much the volume, it's the fact that during this peak hour, the people heading east on Halifax cannot make a turn north without literally taking a chance and just breaking that traffic up and going. And the other day, 2 parents were heading south on US 1, trying to turn into the school, and the, truck and car almost collided.
So it's almost impossible to cross both lanes.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so,
And people are trying to go to work at that hour of the morning, and just like they're trying to get the kids to school.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I thought, if we had police officers there
Right.
directing traffic, they could say, you stop, you give each person a turn to go.
Yeah, every time I'm coming to work and there's somebody stuck, I always see them just take a right and do a U-turn. It seems like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of big trucks,
Yeah.
big trucks,
Yeah.
that probably wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the ones that, Neil's, Neil Bond's daughter was, I guess, she just got her driver's license, she was driving to school with him, and they were very close to getting in a bad accident.
I'm just worried about the safety when you do you fall back from the time initially dark at that time, because it doesn't lighten up and so much traffic is over in the morning. So I don't know if that's a concern of the sheriff's department, why they would say it's not safe for them.
I don't know. And I don't know, I guess we could check and see if we could get a meeting with FDOT to come out and look at what's going on. And then, if we had support from a lot of parents and the school and the city, maybe we could move that project up in the priority list. Be worth the
Try, yeah.
try.
I like that.
We would help you do that, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just got to try everything
Yeah.
until we find something that works.
We wrote to the governor one time.
Right.
You were on the.
I mean, we,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have that traffic, everybody's slowing down to 20 miles an hour. And then the cars that were further back are coming at 45 to get to that 20 mile an hour zone. So they're slamming on the brakes to get to 20. So now you got more cars stacking up now. Even though they might have been spaced out real far coming 45 miles an hour, they're stacking them up at 20 miles an hour going through that light. And it just gives nobody a chance to make a turn or cross or get over because the cars are slowing down for 20 miles an hour. And whether they're doing 20 or not, who knows? Some are going faster, some are going slower. I literally went through there at 20 miles an hour and I got passed by a car.
Yeah.
And a police unit was right behind me sitting. I was like, okay, that did some good. So,
Do you guys know how they decided where to put the school zone sign? Or
No.
just a random question
That
there.
was there before.
I wonder if they backed it up a little bit,
mhm.
that would change things, because it is kind of tight, But I don't know, who did that, the state?
probably FDOT did it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had a
Back when
study
the
and-
old school was here, that the school
Yeah.
crossing was before they even
And
took
they had
over
a
the
guard
school.
though, remember?
Yeah.
What's the name of the other building? Just south of it? That it came on?
Church Street.
Church.
Yeah.
So I always, like, a thought, and again, I don't know how much this would cost, but if they were to go past and then do a turning lane at Church Street to go over, and then they would turn north on Ridge Road, drop their students off or pick them up, and then just head north, and they would just then turn north, so that maybe you wouldn't have as many slowing down right there at the intersection, they would be able to pass through and make a larger loop. I don't know, but I don't know how much a turning lane would be, if that would be cheaper than a light.
I was gonna say, there isn't actually a turn lane, is
No,
there?
You have to put a turning lane in. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I was
that's
gonna
cheaper
say,
than a
I
light.
didn't think there was one there.
No.
I'm going to continue fighting for a light because I think we just need it, period. Even if the light just worked during school hours, or certain times of the day. The rest of the day can flash yellow all at once, but during school hours and that time, we need it to actually be a working light.
Yeah.
So,
And when you consider the fact that we're gonna have so many more developments coming
yes,
into
a
town.
lot more traffic.
We're gonna have a lot more traffic coming in. We're also gonna have a lot of construction vehicles that will be coming in and out with equipment and so on. And they're gonna go up and down US 1. It's gonna be a great deal more traffic coming in, and they're gonna be coming early in the morning probably because they're gonna wanna get out on their projects and start working. It's just gonna make it that much more dangerous. So anything you can do to help us to turn around and alleviate the problem, and
Why don't we try and set up a meeting and invite Danny Robbins and maybe even if Chase Tremont's in
Yes.
town,
Yes.
invite Chase to see,
Yeah.
you know, if something can be done to move that up.
It'll be a minute before he would be able to make it with
Right.
everything
I mean,
that's
it's
going on now.
During session right now, but, I mean, that would be end of March.
Mhm. And got Matt Reinhardt. He's one of our representatives here too, along with Danny.
Danny Robbins is actually our representative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt Reinhardt stops at New Smyrna Beach.
Okay, that's his right.
I think that's how
Okay.
that works.
Okay.
Danny
But if we can
Flowers.
get a meeting with FDOT and some of our higher up officials, I mean, could we just settle this here and then see what happens after that and take it up again if we can't, if it doesn't move anything? Because it seems like we kind of basically said everything that we
Sure.
can say about
Sure.
traffic right now.
And if you guys could look into your budget and see if there's something you can help to contribute towards the expenses of road maintenance and, you know, traffic flow and security or whatever it's gonna end up taking, we'd appreciate it.
How's Ridge Road holding up? I drove down it the other day. It didn't really look too bad.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to possible agreements for park and sport program.
So, we're just trying to look to however we can to contribute to Oak Hill. Oak Hill given a lot to our school, and I know we're trying to get out into the community more and do more things. I know that we've had several students help out with the community garden, and I know that we're trying to get down in Lagoon and do some cleanups and stuff. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know. Another thing we like to do is maybe do some more partnerships when it comes to sports and activities. I know that we were trying to do something over summer. Unfortunately, it kind of fell apart. But I know that when we try to do sports, we have two different types of sports. We have our competitive sports, which are your traditional high school sports, the traveling teams, the all-star teams and stuff. But we also do a lot of recreation sports that's just like running a YMCA. Right now we've got basketball going on. We've always said that we'd open it up to Oak Hill residents to participate in our sports. And I know that our proposal is kind of just trying to open up more opportunities for our students, but possibly also students in Oak Hill as well. I know you've already got a good sports program going on some of the fields, but we're just kind of looking for some other avenues to be able to provide some extracurricular activities. And it goes back to the traffic, trying to have our kids stay. The more involved the students are, the better they do in school. So we're just kind of looking for different things to be able to partner up. We have a great relationship with the YMCA, but we'd also like to maybe, instead of taking that over to Edgewater, maybe having it more in Oak Hill. That's kind of what it's about. Because we pay fees to go over to the YMCA, and we pay entry fees and those kind of things, and we're just wondering if we do have some high school sports, but we also have some recreation sports that maybe we'd like to start and work together on some of that stuff for the community and the school.
We do need some funding for pickleball courts.
Solution on that.
That was brought up at the last meeting.
Yeah,
I got a
there's
solution
a
for
tennis court at
Mary Deweese.
Mary Deweese.
Mhm.
And we've had a lot of interest from the community in turning that into 3 pickleball courts.
It's the up and coming thing.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah, I know we're looking for some other sports that are maybe more individualized in some space. I know that we're starting an archery program. It's something we've looked at, and also maybe for the community as well. I think we've got 2 PE teachers certified.
Well, I'm sure, okay, so I started an archery program, so, I was a PE teacher earlier in my career, so archery is something I thought was nice it's a niche sport. It gets kids into sports that won't typically play team sports, things like that. And it's kind of a lifelong sport you can do it all throughout, right? So I started an outdoor program. Our focus right now is archery. And then my wife, Coach Kerrigan, is getting certified this 2 weeks, right? To become an archery instructor also for PE. I'll support her as she gets her feet wet with that. And then we're trying to grow that kind of program. Just anything to get more kids involved and, you know.
So you
liable.
want kids from our community to join the school's activities and the
It
school
depends,
students?
depends on which ones, activities. Some activities are for school students only, and some activities cross over for both. So some of the recreation programs, I know we've had some students that are in the community that play recreation basketball or for our volleyball. So it depends on the activity. Some of the sports, I'd say, some of the sports are just for school students, and there are some activities that we would like to open up to Oakville residents.
Well, if you have any of those, you can let us know. We can put them on our website and Facebook and, you know, get the word out at our meetings and things like that. Our meetings are very well attended, so we can reach a lot of parents that way. We also have a email blast we do and a newsletter, so we can get the word out on anything that the residents are allowed to participate in.
And I know that the Oak Hill Community Trust was looking to do community events through the gym and those kind of things. So it is our interest to have a good relationship with the city, especially since we're here and so many of the residents know about the school and it's kind of been a part of here for a long time. And so we just want to have a good relationship with you and the city residents so that we have a great partnership together.
I know too, I missed the last city meeting, but the one before you had talked about committees for some community events. So, you know, I think we are interested in joining with you too to host and run some of those.
Okay.
It's a nice opportunity for our students to get hours as well, scholarships, and then just bring our school community with the community school. Please let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our calendar events link up.
Have you ever considered any events that would encompass the lagoon?
So we did bring just our teachers down there to kind of get them educated on the lagoon and start just some trips down there. And then with Miss Duncan, she has started our marine science. It's new this year, so it's kind of on the ground floor, our marine science class.
That was that room with all the tanks in it? Okay,
Yes,
I remember.
Yes. So she is interested in building that and doing a lot more with our lagoon and our community. She has the mangroves that every student will have a mangrove that they will plant and grow. And so yes, we would really like to partner with the lagoon a lot more, the restoration and just community education with that as well. So we're definitely open to that.
You ever see those long, really long kayaks where they put like 6 or 7 kids or men or women in it and they race them?
Oh, the
That's a
rowboats?
rowboat.
The rowboats?
It's not a rowboat, it's like a long
Skull.
thing.
Yeah, it's a rowing club.
rowing and
Yeah.
racing,
Yeah, they're rowing.
That
That would be fun.
could be something like that, you know?
We could start a rowing team.
On the Halifax team, they drive all the way across.
They don't have that.
Or a fishing
That's a great
club.
idea.
Huh?
Or a fishing club.
Yeah.
Teaching kids how to
That would
fish,
be a
take
big
them.
one, would be a fishing club.
Yeah.
We have one.
Do you?
So yeah, I started my outdoor
Just did.
adventure club. So I'm a big outdoorsman, I'm a hunter, a fisherman. That's what I do. I'm big into scouting with my family and the community. A lot of our scouts actually go to Burns. But I started an outdoor adventure club. We got a small grant from the FWC. So we did a fishing component early on. We got all of our archery equipment and did that through the colder months, and now we're going to go back to fishing here at the end of February, and we actually are doing a beach cleanup conservation project in March. I picked
Let us
Flagler.
know. Let us know.
I picked Flagler for now. Like I'm on the ground floor with my club right now, so it's the first year I'm with my assistant principal duties and all those things. I'm working on how that looks. But we're going to do Flagler, but our plan is to keep everything local moving forward because I didn't know the logistics of getting kids and families to the lagoon or to, over to the river and where parking would be. I just wasn't familiar with that yet.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some type of fishing tournaments throughout the year, even if it's just like 4,
I
to
want
where
to-
everybody goes to Mary Louise Park, or not the park, but to the pier, And that's where it would be at. And they would enter, they would fish, and you'd have the smallest fish, the biggest
done that in the
fish.
past,
Yeah, I
with the
mean,
kids.
that needs to be brought back because my son attended those things when he was going to school in Port Orange. And it was
Yeah.
great for him.
Had an organization once upon a time that would give the kids tackle, rods and
Yes.
reels.
Well, they
you
had
know.
sponsors from
Right.
bait shops and stuff would give them, they would give them stuff as prizes for the smallest fish. You
Right.
got a fishing rod, or biggest fish got a tackle box, and things like that. And my son got the smallest fish trophy. And
That is my goal. My goal is to actually, at some point in the future, not near future, but future, is to host a tournament. You know, something out of Lagoon with local charter. I know a lot of charter fishermen that have been taking kids out and just figuring out how that looks. So I've been,
Sure.
a lot of friends in the CCA that are doing their thing, so I'm trying to coordinate with them. So yeah,
Right.
I got a vision. It's just a matter of we're trying to figure out how it's going to look.
yeah, I'm sure you got several tackle shops around here that would help and contribute with that between Anchor and Indian Mound.
Anchor
and-
Hardware.
Yeah, all of them would be want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I can only speak for myself, but I'm sure we would want to be a part of helping out with that also. Joe's a
In my
pretty
yard.
big fisherman.
In my yard.
Right in your yard, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me know. I'll come pre-fish for you.
Yeah. Anything else on the sports programs?
And I think we need to be a future conversation when we bring our athletic director, you know, and
Okay.
talk more. This is just a preliminary talk type thing.
Sure, absolutely.
And I would just say that I think that, one of the purposes, you could tie this right together with the traffic, like what you were saying, where you can get kids to stay longer so they're not actually leaving at that time. And but a one-off event like a fishing tournament, it's not like, because I'm a fishing guy, I love fishing, but it's not going to help that. And so if we could come up with something that kind of would be dual function like that, that would be, I think, the best thing that we could possibly hope for.
All right. Okay, the next thing is possible service projects or joint community efforts.
I think that kind of ties into
Same
a little
thing.
bit of what we
Sure.
were, yeah, some of those
Okay.
ideas and.
Okay.
So if you guys think of any kind of events that you would think that would be good for us to participate or support in, I know we have some students, especially at the high school level, looking for community service hours.
Mhm.
And so if you have something that you think that you might need some support from some students, just let us know. We're always looking for opportunities to help out. So just let us know in advance. We'd love to work with you on any kind of joint ventures, I guess you could say.
Do you have any clubs at the school? I know, like, in other cities, I've seen kids get lessons on civics and participate maybe in a commission meeting,
We've done that in the past, yeah.
Yes, we've done that.
Yeah, and we had a debate club,
Yeah.
yeah, and,
So from the high school side, I was tasked with actually collecting all of the information for the clubs, and just off the top of my head, we have everything from chess club, esports, Dungeons and Dragons, we have debate, we have the outdoor club, there's golf. We have a number of, a whole Excel spreadsheet worth of clubs that we offer for kids, not necessarily in the sports realm, but they're all types of things. So we have the ROV club, which is underwater robotics building and creation. We have there's a lot of cool things that you wouldn't normally get at a bigger setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have student government. We also have National Honor Society and Junior National Honor Society. They're always looking for civic events to participate in. I am a part of the Chamber of Commerce, and we're looking to start a junior Chamber of Commerce and have them kind of model after that. So they might be wanting to see how meetings go and stuff like that. So once we get that up and running, we'd love for them to be able to sit and kind of observe how city meetings work and also how chamber meetings work and all those kind of things, because they won't know unless they actually experience it. We could tell them and lecture to them all day long, but it's just a lot more real when you actually see it in person.
Exactly.
In our SGA clubs, I know that they do, they need hours, right? So like they do cleanups at different places and stuff. So if you guys have places that you'd want, like,
They just did one this last weekend here locally.
okay, good, yeah, but that's always a good idea too. You know better than me.
You do that during school hours or?
It was this last Saturday, so
Okay.
we actually launched a Acts of Kindness campaign for the next 2 weeks. And it's a way for students, it's called Raise Craze. And so they picked a number of items that they can give back to their community, or even their school community or outside community. And they send emails to families. The families sponsor them based off of the acts of kindness that they chose. And so we, this last Saturday, hosted one locally here, a cleanup. We have another beach cleanup in a few weeks, and then this Saturday is the one at our school. So we tried, and then there's other ideas for them to do as well.
I know they clean up a cemetery in New Smyrna every year, you know, so if you had stuff like that, or,
Yes.
you know, which you
I
guys
know
would
you
be,
have the one.
would you need help, then we would probably be able to do something like that with you guys.
Because we have Clinton Cemetery, I don't know, what we,
Our cemetery out
Yep.
here in
Mhm.
Brook Circle.
yep, that one,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
We have the Saints and
And you
Sinners.
guys have a band too, right? Like a band classes and
Starting.
Start.
It's gonna be a little bit before we get it really going.
I got you. Do you have like an acting performance like thing?
Yes,
I
we
got
have musical theater,
Okay.
and we would love for you to attend that. So they kind of combine the dance with the musical theater all into one show. The one that's coming up is Into the Woods, which is all the fairy tales all put into one show. All the characters put into one show. So it's the students are already singing up and down the halls.
Some better than others.
So we're still working, we're still practicing.
That's nice. It's nice because, so for the kindergarten through 6th grade, they have dance club after school, and then the older ones do the theater part, and then the little ones dance during the play, and it's very nice. So it combines the entire student body.
As of right now, how many Oak Hill kids are still waiting to get enrolled?
Oh, waiting to get enrolled.
Waiting to get enrolled.
I would have to look that up. I can tell you the amount that are waiting totally, but not specifically Oak Hill students. So I would have to look that up for you. And I actually meant to look up how many enrolled students for Oak Hill we did have.
I had that.
Months ago, I
I
know.
forgot it.
We have 1,575 students on the wait list currently, right now. But I don't know exactly how many are Oak Hill.
Okay.
And then last year, we did put in a preference for Oak Hill residents.
Yes.
So before it was, Oak Hill residents were just the general lottery. Now there's a preference, which means that they go ahead of anybody that's not in Oak Hill.
Right.
So they kind of go, yeah.
So how did that affect the enrollment for Oak Hill students?
Pretty much.
They're all getting in.
So almost all, so when we're in the lottery, there's not a lot of openings, but the openings that we're getting, it's almost all gonna be Oak Hill kids. Because right now it goes like staff members' kids, like so teachers' kids,
Mhm.
first active duty military. Our charter has a few very specific types of people. And then it's Oak Hill residents are now one of the criteria, I think one of the 4 criteria. So Oak Hill kids are gonna get in before Edgewater kids, New Smyrna kids, Titusville, any other kids, unless they're like staff member kids.
Staff or board
And so
member.
Staff or board member kids, so Oak Hill's first of all, that's.
So staff members, Oak Hill, and then others. Because I remember the old list had veterans on there, and
Well, active duty,
Yes.
active duty military is in our charter, so.
so teachers, kids, veterans, and then Oak Hill.
Yep.
How does reserve go from active? Because they're still reserve duty.
If they have.
Military.
If they're active reserves, then
Yes,
they
that
will be on
works.
it.
Because I have a family that's been waiting, and they're both active reserve Coast Guard, and their
Okay.
kid still hasn't been able to get in.
remember, like,
I know.
we have multiple grades that there's
Sure.
no
They do
openings.
need to make sure that they have that preference checked.
Yes.
Have them
Okay.
call us.
Yes.
Yeah, have them call us just to make sure.
Okay.
Because we haven't said, like, no.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I was just asking how many are waiting, because at least I could throw that number to them when they ask me that question to cover everybody.
Yeah, because we haven't had anybody, since I was in the military, I check all the IDs to come in,
Mhm.
because we always verify, like, Oak Hill resident, we verify you live in Oak Hill, right?
Yep.
Because people will check any box they can to get in.
Right.
We always verify.
Sure.
Yeah, all that, there's only been 3 or 4 military, but they've all gotten in so far. If there's nothing. If there's not
Absolutely.
nothing, they
That's right. I understand.
Do you ever have meetings with the parents all together
can't. With the school?
at the school? Students, parents there?
Yes.
You mean like PTA or,
Well, yeah, like,
they're invited to the board
We
meetings.
have a board meeting once a month. It's open to anyone. We have one tomorrow morning, our Eagles Nest organization, which is just our fancy way of saying PTA. That's once a month that they can come at any time. And
What time is that?
that is at 8:30 tomorrow.
You can't go.
That's probably a problem with a lot of families and parents that I've already heard. That's why I was adding that.
Staff organization, which
Mhm.
meets in the evenings.
Gotcha,
So that's
okay.
once a month at 6 p.m. In the cafeteria.
Okay.
And that is for any families, teachers, anyone who'd like to come as well.
Okay.
the,
Good to
the
know.
only reason I'm asking is, and I'm not sure that y'all got this email that Tammy had sent to the city about the lady who fell down in the intersection and people just kept driving by, which I know you have no control of at all. You know, personally, I find it despicable that anybody would do something like that, seeing someone laying in a road.
I
But,
agree.
You know, just to kind of, ask the parents to maybe be courteous to the residents that are in your traffic pattern, to, just in general, all of it, the
Yeah, we
people.
try. I read that. I've met with them before. And I'll just tell you guys, like, every time anybody calls the school or drives to the school frustrated, I'll call the sheriff's department immediately.
That's right.
Every time. And I'll be like, come out here, can you please put somebody out here, give them tickets. Like, if they're doing something wrong, give them all tickets, it's hard for us to do anything generally for a lot of those situations, right? But I always just call the sheriff every time, if they're doing something wrong, get out there. Like that, this situation particularly, like, I don't know how you tell somebody to be a decent human being. I don't know. Like, it's hard to read.
That's why we teach, because we want to create those decent human beings when they get older.
Right,
Mhm.
I just was hoping maybe there was a way sometime you could maybe just communicate to the people,
Mhm.
Have a little courtesy for the residents that live in our area, and address it to them, that's all.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think that's something we can put out.
Mhm. Yeah, we also have a newsletter that we put out, so we can put reminders in there as well.
That would be appreciated,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Maybe remind them that there was an incident and it was brought to your attention and, address it that way to them.
That person that drove by might read that. Say, oh, that was me.
Hope so.
Now we know who you are.
I have a big picture question. I know when the latest portables came in, we talked about no more growing or whatever, but do you see the school looking to grow at all or expand in any way? I know the mayor has talked about wanting to try and spearhead some
Vocational school.
vocational training, and just, whether the school's ever thought about that, whether you would be open to working with maybe an off-site location where they'd go to class, for a certain part of the day and go to this, because, we've talked about how we might be able to help
Mhm.
facilitate some of that.
Yeah, I've talked to our lobbyist, and I have some interest even in higher upstate.
I think when we think our current school, we don't want to grow
And your
those
location,
students that are
right.
there.
No, so the room that we use right now that we want to make into vocation is too small. So we would need a bigger facility to do the training for our students that we really need for vocation. But we would love to have a site that we could like basically gate off the rest of the campus so that we could use it other
Mhm.
times, because our high schoolers do a flex schedule.
Mhm.
So Mondays were a little bit more open and flexible to be able to do community outreach or an adult class, or maybe after school doing that type of a thing. So I know we've talked about it. I know, Mr. Taylor, I talked to you a little bit about it,
Mhm.
but we would love to do that. We basically have two paths basically for our students for the high school. One is our scholar students, the ones that want to go to university and college, and it's a certain type of rigorous. But the other ones is we want the students that aren't going to college to have a really high-paying career in some kind of trade or something that's going to take some kind of certificate training and stuff like that, maybe 1-2 years and stuff like that. We don't necessarily want to have the whole certification program here. We know that the kids just need to learn basically handyman.
Read a tape measure.
Yes, they can't do it. Like, we had our students go out to try to dig a ditch, and they couldn't even hold they couldn't even hold a shovel correctly. Like, they just need to, like, if you talk to the contractors, you talk to the people that was like, we just need them to do the basic skills. Can they take measurements? Can they, can they hammer a nail? Can they put in a screw correctly? Can they do just like a foundation class is what we really want to try. And then maybe build up that if we did something community, that we would have a program that they could graduate our program and keep going, and then the residents of here could also go through. I would love, and we would love to have some kind of program like that. We'd absolutely love it.
It's obvious that you don't have the space or the facility there. It would require you to build another school on another location somewhere.
Maybe not a school, maybe even like a
facility. We just need a facility.
Yes.
Something. Just an open
Charlie.
facility would be great. That
Yeah.
could be multifunctional and do different things with it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
kind of what we
think,
need.
I mean, if you're open to that, I think, you'd probably get a lot of interest from local companies willing to help us get
Mhm.
the land and the building.
Yep.
If they could see some of those students,
Come
become
work
their
for them.
employees.
Yeah.
I was saying Charlie's in that Brotherhood of Electrical Workers,
Right.
that union.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think he's a pretty high roller in there.
Okay.
Maybe reach out to him and see if they could
Sure.
come up with some ideas. I'm sure
guidance.
they need to have people all the time, to join in their union and learn how to do that, so. I know he's into that. He's an engineer with them or something.
So we'd be extremely interested in
Okay.
partnering up and working with something,
Okay.
both for our students and adult training.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to anybody at the library for their volunteer hours?
I haven't, probably a good idea. That is a good idea.
Yeah, they could probably use some help.
Maybe at the VIA hall too on Saturdays during their open
Yeah.
open houses and
That would be
stuff.
a-
They
see-
could learn some of the history of the
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
Hours at the museum.
Seems like we have a lot of talented people in the trades in this
Mhm.
town.
Sure do.
That we should be able to
And space.
yeah, right, both of that.
Mm-hmm.
That we could be able to conjure up some kind of a program here out of all this people that we have around here.
Yeah, a program that I would love for our students would be, I have one teacher that would be there all day who's a certified teacher, but then have guest project people, I guess you could say. They come in for a few weeks and they go through plumbing. And then somebody else comes in for a few weeks and trains the students on air conditioning. Then somebody else comes in and then talks about construction. Somebody else comes in. Like, I'd love to see a rotation come through. And if we had people in the area that'd be willing to donate an hour for a few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
early in the morning before work starts or something like that, I mean, that'd be a great way for people to get back to the next generation of workers through that. And maybe that could lead to kind of an adult program type thing too, where it's a sample for
Mhm.
adults to try something for a little bit to see if that's really what they want to do. I don't know. I just feel like there's a need, and
There is.
we're trying to fill that need and trying to figure out a way to do that.
You treat kids during the day and open it up to
Adults at night, yep,
Right.
yep. Very good. What's-
Guess soon we will grow. We already told you that.
Yep. I think this was pretty productive and well needed.
Yeah.
I definitely thank you guys for coming out and contributing and being part of this.
Thank you.
And we would definitely be open if we wanted to do it ever so often,
Mhm.
so that we're not going years before we
Of course.
have some conversations. You know,
Agreed.
Maybe twice a year or something like that, where we can just have this kind of a conversation and
Sure.
Absolutely.
make
And you
sure
guys
we're all on
can-
the same page.
Yeah. If you guys have ideas, you can pop by anytime too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
It doesn't take, we don't need, I don't need a lot of those. They're a little busy than me. We can always make something work.
Yep. Same
I
here.
have a neighbor that he has 73 patents. Don Luttrell, I don't know if there's that name.
Which one?
And he works for the Navy, and he's a mathematical guy, you know. But he complained to me one day, and this was about a year and a half ago, that he had gone to the school and wanted to go in there and talk to the kids about what it takes to get patents and things like that, and that it never went anywhere. He was disappointed about that. And do you think it would be a good idea for me to have him call you guys again?
Yes?
He lives at the very north end of Gaines Street there. And, real smart guy.
Very smart.
I can give you my card, and then if you wanted to email me, I'm always looking for guest speakers.
Thank you, thank you.
And so we're very open to that.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss or talk about?
Did we get through all of them?
Yeah.
So you'll just reach out if you get something on the schedule for us to.
Sure.
However we can help you guys
Yeah.
with them.
Sure.
Okay.
And I'll let you know, I'll definitely be following up with that DOT, so I'll let you know,
Okay.
when that will be, and if we can get a good crowd there, and all say how important that is to the city and the school and everything else.
Yeah, we can get our parents, we can get our parents going. We can get our.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Because they benefit them as well, so we can generate definitely good attendance.
Yeah.
Just Tammy.
Is there any public comments? Yes.
Public comment.
Well, thank you for all your work. I mentor at the school. I've been doing it for a year and I enjoy myself. And I know you inherited many issues that weren't of your making. And I think you're doing a great job managing it. Were you able to read my email about my suggestions about just partnering or getting more help with other government agencies like Florida Safe Routes to School? So you have more support in that?
I did read it, yes.
Oh, okay. Is that something that you guys, I heard what you said, you just do the map, but just kind of a campaign?
Oh, to have more of a study.
Like a parent, like Commissioner Waring said, like an awareness campaign where we just make it's something to talk about with the parents and.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, and I think that we really need to just hit them up with the, at the beginning of the year, we stress to them at orientation, like how important it is. And then, I think we generally don't really hit it again.
Well, I did buy a cone outfit.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Did you see that out there? And I had two brave moms dressed as a cone
Oh, my
and
goodness.
stand in the road. So I'm happy to continue that. Yes.
Come on out, Route
But
1.
as far as Lisa's efforts of, and I mean that seriously, that's just like one step of getting out there and letting them know that this is serious and raising the awareness, like you said, right?
I think quarterly, or I'd be involved in just presenting a presentation or at the PTA or something more that's proactive.
Right.
Because people just forget, and I just think once a year at the beginning, people just, you go, get busy with life.
They do, and they're running late and they have all those things.
And we can talk, I don't want to keep your talk about this at length now, but when things change, like I'm on that block of North Kings, what happens when this sewer, future planning for when the traffic will have to be detoured?
Right.
It's things like that. I just would like to be a little, part of a proactive.
Sure.
Campaign. I don't know if I need to do a presentation to the board, or if I can get someone who, if you notice that dial, it said like school safety is multifaceted, and we all need to make sure that everybody's safe, the kids included. So that's what I would like to be involved in, and I don't know how to go forward with that. So, thank you.
Any comments from the commission?
No, it looks like we,
Comment in.
Okay. Very good. Well, I guess the next thing is to adjourn.